being run by musicians.
Okay.
So it's being run by accountants and lawyers. So I don't know if they know real music if they heard it. What they're looking for is acts that are going to make the most money for them. So you see all kinds of little gimmicks, so to speak.
The latest on the mystery surrounding Prince's death. The U.S. Attorney's Office and DEA are now joining the investigation as we learn more about a California doctor who says he was called to help the superstar.
At a time like this, if I was on medication right now, then one pill could have been swapped out and it would be Michael Jackson and Prince all over again.
And he got left out on a limb and somehow still had to create his way out of that. He was just really a 1 in a billion type person. I was lugging it on.
The streets are claiming that Prince knew something we didn't, and it has everyone in a panic. Did you hear what Prince said about Diddy back in the day? Girl, Prince wasn't only making fun of Shay, he was attempting to warn us about some sinister things happening in the music industry with all of the turmoil surrounding Diddy's arrival. Business people are examining Prince's previous interviews as if they were coded signals, and we're going to make some connections that will, believe me, have you started to doubt what you believe to be true about the industry after seeing this video. You won't ever. Take another look at your favorite artist.
One of the creepiest videos I seen was the way they took out Prince on The Simpsons. He got taken out. When I say taken out, y'all know what I mean. Like, before he died in real life, it happened on The Simpsons. Got this video here, and always say take these videos with a grain of salt. Believe what you want to believe. Again, I'm just trying to inform myself, but it says Prince was right about Diddy, saying they kill stars before they expose all. You know, I feel like a lot of people who know things, either they're going to take you out or they're going to make you look crazy. So we're going to check this video out. Appreciate all the love and support with you guys coming over. I didn't know too much about Prince, besides the whole Dave Chappelle thing, which came out to be true about him, like, you know, the whole basketball and all that. Other than that, I think he was a pretty quiet and private person. So
let's go back to the time when Prince was spilling tea like it was hot sauce. This man wasn't just singing about Purple Rain, he was also giving us warnings about the music industry that made everyone's ears perk up. You may recall how he would get all cryptic in interviews, leaving us with hints that we could follow like breadcrumbs. It seemed as though he knew something significant was happening and was trying to tell us without saying it directly. Prince was always on some next level stuff, discussing how the industry was more twisted than a pretzel. He would be out there saying things like the music industry as a Matrix A hologram. At first, we thought he was just being his typical enigmatic self, that now we believe he was trying to warn us of some serious dark truths. But why was he being so quiet about it all? It seems like he wanted to shout it from the rooftops, but knew he couldn't. Perhaps he was scared of what would happen if he said too much, or perhaps he was shielding himself from the very forces he was warning us about. Whatever the reason, Prince was playing chess while the others were playing checkers. Let's break down some of the most outrageous things Prince has ever said about the industry. He once warned us that if you don't own your masters, your master owns you. This isn't just advice, it's a lice. Warning he was trying to tell artists to maintain control over their work, or else they could get into serious trouble. But Prince wasn't just talking in general terms, he was naming names. And Diddy was one of them. Now that Diddy is involved in all of this drama, Prince's remarks are strikingly prophetic.
Oh, they got a disclaimer.
I know a lot of y'all have been wondering if there was any connection between Prince and Diddy and all the things Prince was exposing in the music industry. And allegedly, there actually was some sort of weird connection. One, because of the deal Diddy had with Warner Brothers, the record label Prince was fighting for doing the same thing Diddy did for years. Profit off the artists without giving them a dime and blackballing them for exposing him.
It became such a big deal back then is ever since my third album, I wasn't really taking large advances from the recording companies. I was recording the albums myself in my own studio. So the way I looked at it, I owned the work because I paid for it. And I did all the work. I created it, so I felt like it should belong to me. That said, the companies felt otherwise. And they would always hold this contract up and say, well, you signed it. And I say, well, I understand that. It's not like I want to leave. I just want to, talk about this thing and see if we can't make it more fair. of course they wouldn't change, because if they changed, they wouldn't really exist. And that's kind of the situation.
Again, I don't know how he grew up. But like I said before, you be so excited to get this money you never seen before, money you thought you would never see, you know, and all you got to do is sign your name and it's yours. But a lot of people don't really read the fine prints. They kind of just, and then they sign, like, give me my money, you know. Next thing you know, this contract you in, you can't get out of, and it's all these, you know, things that you didn't know was going to be in there. Yeah. And then guess what? You don't own the rights to your music. Yeah.
We're in right today. They're not going to exist much longer. It's not like we're against them or anything like that. The idea is that we find better ways of working with one another. It shouldn't be a situation where they own the album or the work. We're talking about intellectual copyright. If they're going to be indeed a delivery service, then that's fine. But even FedEx doesn't say that they own the thing that they ship.
Number two, Prince actually lent his house to Diddy for his parties, but he never attended the parties himself because allegedly Prince had his suspicions about what Diddy was doing with the freak-offs.
Yeah, the first Diddy party I went to was
Wait, what? At Prince's house? Oh, no. Well, I mean, you know, rest in peace to Prince.
In one interview, Prince called Diddy out directly rather than only hinting at him. Tell me about a musician who makes a lot of money
tell me about a musician who makes a lot of money from digital sales, although Spotify is doing well and Apple is doing quite well. What about the artist? Tell me of someone who makes a lot of money from digital sales. Prince looked directly at the camera and said, Diddy and those guys aren't the enemy, they're just trying to make a living, but they're not being fair to the artist. The way he said it, you could tell there was more to the story than he was letting on. But wait, there's more to this story. Why do you think the artists are telling you that we aren't making any money?
That there isn't no getting rich, it's just making a living. Prince wasn't only talking, he was really living up to his beliefs.
Prince wasn't only talking, he was really living up to his beliefs.
Relentlessly changed his name to a symbol.
He battled record companies relentlessly, changed his name to a symbol, and even swore on his face. This wasn't just about music, it was also about freedom, control, and exposure. We're only now catching up to what Prince knew years ago, but it seems like he left us a roadmap to the truth about a system that he saw as fundamentally corrupt. The question is, what else did Prince know that we're still in the dark?
Oh, man. And this is Jason Lee talking right here.
He never attended the parties himself because allegedly Prince had his suspicions about what Diddy was doing with the freak-offs.
Yeah, the first Diddy party I went to was at Prince's house. So you want to go to Prince's house to the Diddy party where Tyrese is performing and Demi Moore and Ashton Kutcher are swinging on swings. That is what's happening on the other side of the wall. And so the one thing that makes this party different than a Jamie Foxx party or any other celebrity party that wrangles a bunch of young women or guys or whatever too, is that Diddy didn't let you bring your security in the party.
Number three, Prince's estate was also involved in a lawsuit with Jay-Z, who happened to be very tight with Diddy before his lawsuits. And the issue was that Jay-Z was distributing Princess's music on Tidal illegally. Well, unfortunately, it never ends well for the people who expose the likes of Jay-Z and Diddy, and record labels like Warner and Prince tried to warn us. Get seated, loves, because things are about to get even more insane with all this Diddy madness. You see, the thing about Prince is that when it came to ownership of and control over his music, Prince waged a career-long battle against any company that he felt stood in the way of artists' rights and money. And allegedly, he paid the ultimate price for that: death. Whether Warner Brothers was involved with having him unalived or not is still up for debate, but a lot of fans definitely think that they were involved in his death. For a bit of background, Prince was signed to Warner Music in 1977 when he was just 18 years old. And even though the albums he released between 1978 and 1981 did not do that well, he was kept on the label as he was regarded as a musician that reflected well on Warner, which at the time...
You know, they say... they have these people called star whackers, you know, like people who take out stars or celebrities, people that will come in. Like I said again, look at The Simpsons. I don't know if they're going to show the clip in here, but you look at The Simpsons and it was on there. And they say this is a true thing. I mean, I ain't trying to force you to believe it, but just really think about that. Like how every time one of these celebrities pass away, it'd be like either in a hotel or, you know, like a bathtub, or they found like this stuff next to them, these pills. Just saying.
Now wait a minute, we have been discussing Prince's warnings, but let's change the subject and focus on the guy he was warning us about. Diddy has been in charge of the industry for decades, but at what cost? According to the streets, there is more to his accomplishment than merely successful vodka recordings. Let's go back to the beginning. What if I told you that some of your favorite musicians may have paid a price we can't even fathom in a flash? Diddy went from fetching coffee to starting his own label. However, such rapid success always raises questions about how he did it and who he stepped on to get there. Diddy began his career as an internet Uptown Records and hustled his way to the top faster than you can say. Bad Boy for Life. The whispers began early and haven't really stopped since. Now, I'm not saying Diddy didn't work hard. The man has been working hard for days, but there has been talk for years about how he treats his artists. For example, when Mice came out swinging, Diddy was holding on to his publishing rights as if they were the last piece of chicken at the cookout. Other artists like the Lox and Evano have fought with Diddy over contracts and creative control, but it's not just about money and music. There have been some seriously shady things happening in Diddy's circle over the years. For example, when his artist Shine was caught in that nightclub shooting back in 2009, Diddy got away clean, but Shine ended up spending nearly 10 years in prison. Don't even get me started on the whole Biggie situation. People are still wondering what actually happened.
Yeah, man. Anybody who in law enforcement or people know the law, when Homeland Security ran up into his house, people will tell you, or people knew that it was just a matter of time that they was going to indict him and bring him in to see the judge, bro. It was just a matter of time. I just figured out with the grand jury and their different sessions and stuff like that, and then what one of the witnesses told me, I just figured it out that it was going to be around September that they were going to bring him in, bro. People might not understand. It's difficult when you see a brother that has so much promise become an icon as far as in the music business and stuff that he did, to turn around and just tear his whole life down. But it's all because of his mentors and the people that trained him and taught him the music business. You know, it's all about the people who trained and taught him the music business, because Puff wasn't, he wasn't born a monster. You know what I'm saying? He was made into a monster, brother. Do you understand what I'm saying? He was made into a monster from the stuff that happened to him, the things that he had to do. You understand? The things that he had to do to become who he is. You know what I'm saying? You know, it's like this, brother. You never like something so much that you can't do without, and you never be willing to do anything to get where you want to be at. You got to have principles, you got to have morals, you got to keep with that stuff. And in that music business, a lot of that stuff get thrown out the window. You understand? And that's what happened to him. He started doing the things to other people that was done to him. To keep it frank, he was doing the things to other people that was done to him. And it is what it is. You got to know better. And if you know better, you will do better. When he was in New York City, he was like that gecko from the Geico commercial. Then he turned and started going, when he lived in Cali and Miami, he turned into Godzilla. I would see him talk about how he using drugs. He was never like that. Smoking cigarettes, smoking weed and everything like that. He turned into something that you could consider a monster, bro. Then he started doing things to people, you understand, that he learned. That's a learned behavior, bro. Now, I'm not saying that he may have been doing a couple of things here and there with women, stuff like that in New York, but the things that there's talking about that he was doing, bringing in prostitutes to have sex with his girl and all that stuff like that, that was some crazy stuff to me, man. So I'm just looking at this whole thing, man, and you had asked me, and we don't have these conversations like most people do. We gonna go back and you gonna tell me what, we gonna talk about this. You said, I'ma ask you how you feel, bruh. I don't want no man to ever go to jail and be leaving their kids behind, be leaving their family behind. You understand? But some dudes belong in jail based on what they do and how they do it. We know that to be true. And it's just this situation, man, when they get down to all the facts and all what happened, he may belong in jail, bruh. And that's not my doing. That's not Cassie doing. That's his doing and his learned behavior from the people that mentored him.
The list goes on, including the time Diddy's former bodyguard claimed he was complicit in the Pac shooting, or the time his other ex-bodyguard was found dead under suspicious circumstances. It seems like there is a new story every time you turn around, but this is the one that has people talking the most. You may recall Prince's constant insistence that artists should own their masters. As it turns out, Diddy has been in hot water over that exact issue. Just last year, Ma attacked Diddy on social media, accusing him of not returning his publishing rights and claiming that Diddy was offering to buy them back for the same amount he paid in the 1990s, despite the fact that their value had skyrocketed. It's like Prince, who knew the game was rigged and was attempting to tell us who was holding the deck, with all those vague warnings about the industry that weren't just about some faceless system. One of the fingers that Prince was pointing was now directly at Diddy. There is enough smoke here to make you question if there is a fire, but I'm not saying Diddy is the big evil wolf of the music business. It seems like Prince was giving us the cheat codes to figure out what's actually happening behind the scenes when he claimed that, and those guys weren't treating artists fairly. However, if all of this is true, why hasn't anyone come out and revealed everything? And why are we still trying to piece it together? There are hints that we are in a mystery book about the music business, girl, and that's what we're going to explore next. I promise you that things are going to become very intriguing. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, and stay informed. Stay tuned for more updates, and let's keep our news accurate.